Good afternoon, Facebook family and friends. Welcome to the Doris Hall James Indie Show. The Doris Hall James Indie Show focuses on past artists that have been performing in the past and are still performing and doing their thing. Many of them are still working, still performing, still recording, and we want to bring this back into the limelight and keep our music alive. Today, my guest is Marty Gibbs. He's been around a long time. He's a producer and he's a manager. He has his own record label and he owns Rebel Hill Entertainment. Hello, Marty. How you doing?
Sister Doris.
Okay. Welcome to Doris Hall James Indie Show. How are you today?
Thank you. Much honor for being here.
And I'm honored to have you. When I invite my guests, I'm honored that they accept my invitation because I want to keep you guys alive, okay? And I'm really honored to have you here today.
Thank you.
Okay, so now let's start our interview off. Tell me a little bit about Marty Gibbs.
Musically or personally?
Let's try musically, okay?
Well, musically, I started Rebel Hill Entertainment back in the 80s. I think that's my memory back there. What is hiding in the background, right? But yeah, in the early 80s, I started Rebel Hill Entertainment. I was on a lot of independent artists based around the Philly area. Rap. I worked with Tough Crew, remember? Tough Crew rap group. Put a single by Ice Dog from Tough Crew. It made it to #8 on the Billboard charts.
Wow, all right.
I did a lot of club freestyle music, which was like the Q102 Turbine stuff. I put out a lot of releases. I was dealing with Hot Productions, but you might remember Alan Rubens. Don't we say that?
Don't you go
hey,
there.
well, listen, that's how far back we go, right? So yeah, I had my little moment too, you know. So I had a few releases out back then, and then I, moving, fast forward, I worked with an artist named Sandman, who was on Interscope Records, another artist out of Philly. And then I went on. Matter of fact, the same time I was managing Jeff Bradshaw, jazz trombonist through Hidden Beach. And after that, got into gospel real heavy. So I still manage.
Is that what you doing a lot of gospel now?
I still do a lot of gospel.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I manage a group called Soul Tempo. They're out of Connecticut. And they were in the movie The Preacher's Wife.
With Whitney Houston.
With Whitney and Denzel. Actually, you can see a clip of them when they were in the chapel doing the Lord's Prayer. So that's the group there. I still work with them. We have some current music out now. I co-own Soul Tempo Music as well as Rebel Hill. And Rebel Hill has a deal through Warner Music. So Warner Music does all my distribution. And I have Henry Hall, which I had bought you his single today. I worked with Bubby Fan, who's a pretty big gospel producer and artist over in Jersey. I put out a project by Pastor Sue Neal from the UK. That was very, very nice. And I mean, I'm probably missing some folks.
Well, tell me, how did you start? How did you get into this?
I'm going to blame it on Brother Alfie Pollitt, right? Brother Alfie Pollitt.
Alfie.
Yeah, when I was very young. Growing up, I grew up in Ardmore, and then also in Philly at the same time. Went to Philadelphia Public Schools, my middle years, early years in Ardmore. And when I was in Philly, Brother Bruce Poole, he used to play with Honey and the Bees and Britain and the Tabulations and all of them. So I kind of would follow him around. And then Marty Coverdale. I don't know if you remember Marty Coverdale, but he, those were my musical mentors. Marty passed on. Bruce is no longer in the business, but of course Alfie still is.
Yeah, he's still going.
Yeah, he's still going
Alfie's
and all,
still
right?
going.
And when I was younger, in the 70s, I DJ'd a lot, and we used to travel up and down the East Coast.
Okay.
So Alfie would actually have me as his roadie for the Teddy Pendergrass Orchestra when they were not running around with Teddy, but doing their own thing.
Okay.
So I was a roadie for him, and he introduced me to some other folks, and I just kept going.
You just kept going.
Yeah, just kept going. Yeah.
You can't let it go, can you?
You know, I tried to. Yeah, but it's hard.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
hard. Once
Yeah.
you get it, I found out, like, I've been into music since I was a teenager.
Right.
Okay. And I had a professional career because I was a principal for many years
Okay.
for the federal government. But music never went away.
Right.
You know, I kept coming back to it and meeting all the people. And they said, well, Doris, what you doing now? And I said, I'm not doing anything. But it was always the hunger.
Right.
You know, I want to get back in music. So for the past couple of years, I've been doing just that.
Right. Your
And
passion.
it's my passion.
Right.
So I can understand that. So tell me, what are you doing now? Now, I hear you say you were managing all these groups, Connecticut or something.
Yeah, I still manage Soul Tempo. They have a current project that they're working on. Matter of fact, Melvin Steele's
Yes.
wrote,
Yeah.
who Could It Be I'm Falling in Love?
Could it be a
Right.
by the
So,
Spinners? Spinners
yep,
did that.
yeah.
Okay.
So we're actually doing a remake of that, but a gospel version.
Oh,
of Could It Be
really?
I'm Falling in
That's
Love.
interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be really nice.
That's interesting.
So we're working on that.
Is Alfie working on that one?
No, Alfie's not working on that.
Okay.
The project that Alfie is doing, because I also manage chairman of the board.
Yeah. How do you get to do all that?
You do what you do. I mean, this is all I do.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, it's my passion. And
Mhm.
I was working with, matter of fact, I still work with Mo Philly International.
Okay.
That's the label that Melvin, Mervyn, and McKinley Jackson have.
Okay.
So Alfie introduced me to Melvin. I started off doing retail because that's my background.
Mhm.
I used to own the Sound of Norristown, the Sound of Chester. Then we started a coalition of independent stores called The Firm. So
Okay.
I was the president of the firm for about 10 years. I had 300 stores around the country. So of course that helped to really build up my relationships with labels, distribution companies,
Oh,
and
wow.
other folks, right?
Yeah.
So Melvin wanted me to come in and do retail. When he's seen some of the other, services that I do,
Mhm.
he asked me to get a little bit more involved. So
Okay.
I became the label manager
Okay.
because I do services like that for folks. And of course, working with chairman of the board, which is really an honor.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
dealing with them, and then working with Ken. And then Ken's like, hey, man, listen, we want you to manage us.
Isn't that great?
yeah, so
that's
just-
an honor.
Yeah,
isn't
so
it?
one thing,
Yeah.
when people who you've always, you looked at and you say, wow, these guys are great. And when you get a relationship with them and then they ask you to be a part of something that they're doing, I
Yeah.
think that's the highest honor.
Well, they're recording. They're still recording, right? They're recording
Right.
a new. See,
That's the new project
They
there.
can't see this, but
Yeah.
this is the new project.
Right.
Chairman of the board.
Yeah,
right?
that's called Words Left Unsaid.
Words left unsaid.
Mhm.
Said, okay.
Yeah.
And when will this be released? Or is it released
That's
now?
available now.
It's available now
Yes.
on iTunes. Or how?
Yeah, everywhere's digitally, and they can also hit me up if they want a physical copy.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
we do
at the
have
end
those
we'll
stores.
find out how to do that.
Okay.
Okay, so which is the hit on this? Come on, tell me.
All of
the
them are
guys.
hits. All
I
of
know
them
you're
are
gonna
hits.
say that, but I know you're gonna say, but they
Right.
always have one that they think.
Well, the new single that has the video is called Words Left Unsaid.
Words left unsaid.
Yeah, it's really like a nice quiet storm
Mhm.
thing. We're trying to get it, radio to pick up on now. We're getting played in certain parts of the country. Of
Okay.
course, it would be nice to get played here in Philly.
Yeah.
We'll start right
Well,
here.
we can start here.
Hey, all right, that
Philly
sounds
Live
great.
Radio could pick
Right.
up words left unsaid,
Okay,
right?
yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Then there's, what's it, Get Your Lovin'?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Get your loving.
Right,
Yeah.
that's an
mhm,
up-tempo.
mhm.
It has the Philly Motown vibe going on, and Alfie and some of the other Philly musicians were all a part of that.
Okay.
And then, of
Okay.
course, Alfie did a song on there called No One Else.
No one else. I
Uh-huh.
see it. I see
Yeah,
it.
yo, it's hot.
Okay. Let me just take a minute and say hi to Sandy. Hi, Sandy, and Lewis King and Russell Dabney. Eddie Holman. Oh, Eddie, come on. You know it's your time. You know I'm waiting for you. And Stephen Bernstein. Oh, Stephen.
Steve, get out.
Hi, Steve. And Alan and Frank. Oh, hi, Frank. How you doing? I have a problem with your last name, but I know exactly who you are. Welcome, guys, to the Doris Hall James Indie Show. We're now interviewing Marty Gibbs. So let's continue with our interviewing process, okay? All right.
Yeah, so again, you know, these are the songs on the album. I think you'll enjoy them. Hopefully everyone else will enjoy them. And it's available now. And that's pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good on the chairman of the board now. Who are these other artists?
Well, that's Henry Hall.
Henry Hall?
Yeah, he has a project out called Dominion. Was it Dominion of Praise? Something like that. But anyhow, it's really a very inspirational to me.
Yes, I mean, you see it. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. And that's produced by Bubby Fan.
Bubby Fan.
Right. Who's another great producer. You know, he's worked with Marvin Sapp and Ruth LaEntra and the whole gamut. So.
Okay. And Time is Everything.
Timing is Everything. That's the Godinez brothers. That's what I call Blue Eye Soul.
Okay.
If you listen to Rodney Godinez, you would sit back and be like, they're going to be performing at Ardmore Unity Day, Saturday, September the 8th.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now let's talk about some of the events because I've heard that you put on, like you just mentioned, Unity Day. You put on some great events throughout the year. And one event I went to last year, was that when Bunny Sigler was there?
I think that was the year before last. Because last year we had Blue Magic.
Blue Magic was last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, of course, Bunny Sigler. Yeah, I mean, that was like amazing.
That was amazing. That was great.
Resident. Yeah, I mean, his spirit is just so great, you know. And he came out and he blessed us. He was actually coming out to promote a gospel single, and then he had this song called Stand Up. But of course, Brett Jolly is my music director.
Okay.
So when he got a chance to come out, and instead of doing tracks, you know, Brett's out there. He's like, look, he flipped the script and did a whole concert. So yeah, it was great. It was great.
We had a ball.
It was really nice.
Right.
So you plan a series of events throughout the year?
I'm kind of working on it. It's a little premature, but I'm looking at securing a venue in Rosemont, which is right there, you know, Bryn Mawr, Villanova area. And God willing, if it comes to fruition, you know, I'll be doing some regular things there. Because I'm still doing TV tapings. I have a TV show called The Record Shop, which birthed at the Sound of Norristown. And we do inspirational music as well as secular music.
Well, how do you access that? Is that through regular TV? Or?
Yeah, periodically we're on WMCN. Heavily Hits, which is the gospel version of The Record Shop. I had a time slot right after Pastor Gino Jennings on WMCN, which reaches like 3 million households in the tri-state area. We're always on Philly Cam. We've been on Philly Cam for the last
I've been trying to do some stuff on there too.
Okay.
I'm trying to
come on. Come on, be a part of that because it's really great, you know, homegrown, you know, talent that comes through. And we've been on for 10 years now. So you can see us on Sundays at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Okay. All right. I want to go back and say hi to Romeo Bonds and Jose Rodriguez and Alvin Asbury. And then I want to go back and say hi to Steve Bernstein again. That was my partner years ago from WMOT Records.
Yeah.
And Steve Bernstein's wife was one of the writers or the writer of the song that we did Slick called Sunrise.
I remember Sunrise. Oh, that was one of my favorite songs. Get out of here. Wow.
So hi, Steve. Just wanted to give you a shout out.
Yeah, hey, Steve. Yeah.
So what do you have coming up? What do you have? Now, you don't record, do you?
No, I don't.
You don't do any recording?
No.
Producing?
No, not really. You know, when folks say producing, to me, it's more so on the TV aspect.
Okay.
You know, I do, have the, I guess the creative part and try to put it all together and all and the end product. So yeah, but on music, I'm in the studio a lot with different artists and they ask my input, well, sure, but no credits.
Okay. Well, how do you feel in that studio? I mean, does it give you a hype kind of feeling when you go in that studio?
Yeah. You can tell when there's a hit. Yeah. I remember we spent close to a year in the studio down at Larry Gold's with Jeff Bradshaw.
Okay.
We were creating that project, and I mean, he had everyone from Jill Scott to Floetry and Ndombi and even Darius Rucker. So it was so many, and it was just it was an experience that you just had to be there to really appreciate,
Yeah.
And then, not taking anything from anyone else, but I've had some really great, studio experiences with some of the artists that I've been allowed to be around.
Tell me a funny story. Tell me something funny to happen. Can you think of anything?
I really can't think of anything, I mean, to me, there's been a lot of different situations, you know what I mean? I can sit back and laugh, but I don't want to put anybody on blast.
No, please don't. Please don't.
I'll leave that alone. But
Okay.
I've had, like I said, I've been blessed to really be around some great folks and had great time doing it. It's been a really a great journey.
Okay. Okay. So now, where are you going to go from here? I mean, you have the album out by chairman of the board. Do you have any other artists in mind to manage at this point?
I'm not actually looking for folks. If there's something that I feel that I can contribute to, then I'm open to it. But I don't want to just run around trying. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's great to make monies, but the journey and the quality that you're doing supersedes that now. I've been doing it for so long,
Yeah. Is it hard to manage, to be a manager?
No, to me, it's just what I do. I've been doing it for so long now, you know what to look for. It's a challenge every day. Working with chairman of the board has really been a blessing because it's more of a mainstream demographic. A lot of times I work within, the gospel industry, and they're more like a little niche market, and then some of these smaller urban artists. But I've had an opportunity to work in the mainstream R&B arena. But chairman of the board, they work, and I mean they're out in front of thousands and thousands of people, and I'm just sitting back and I'm astonished because I didn't think that was still happening these days.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Because there's so much going on with the music, and everything has changed so much.
It has.
But our artists still, it's still a platform for our artists.
Right.
Definitely. They're still performing. They're still recording songs.
Right.
They're
Great music
they're
out there.
writing songs. I mean, we are still out here doing it, and we want you to know that. You may not hear about them all the time, but they are performing. This show here is to bring back some of our artists and to keep you updated and inform you.
Right. We need outlets like this, and you're doing, a very, very great service to these folks because, they're doing what they've been doing for a long time, but there's no big outlets for them anymore. Besides touring, but they need media, in order to let folks know. But they're out there, and they're kicking it.
Yeah,
they're kicking it. Yeah,
I'm proud. I hear Brett Jolly did an interview with us about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And it was exciting to hear all the good things that he has done and the good things that he still is doing. And I saw him at the Clef Club. Do you go down there? Yeah,
I was down at the Kindred when they do their live pods, I guess it's called. Yeah. So I've been around the Asian team for a minute. It's a good people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we hope to bring on our show
all the old artists.
All the old artists. We have in line. Is it Kenny Jenkins?
Kenny Jenkins.
Wow.
We have T Life.
Okay.
Okay. Who else?
Ursula should be coming.
Ursula should be coming in, and Shirley Lights. I think Shirley Lights is the 26th, and Ursula is the 27th.
Okay.
We did Van Field's.
Yeah, Van
Right,
Fields.
stylistics,
Yeah.
right, okay.
Yeah, so, out there, Facebook, family, and friends,
We want the rest of the stylistics too.
we want you, like, if you have a story to tell, coming through our musical journey of what you've done in the past and what you're still doing, just contact us on info at simplymusicstudio.com and let us know what you want to talk to the audience about. Okay?
Great.
Now, before we end our interview today, we have a lot of upcoming artists, musicians, singers, songwriters, okay? And some of them may be lost in the sauce. Where do they begin? How do they jumpstart their career? What kind of information can you give to them?
Well, practice, of course.
Practice. Okay.
What I would tell them to try to network with credible folks. Sometimes you can really lose enthusiasm for this business because you run across the bottom feeders first, And if you can find credible folks to be around to mentor you, nowadays you can't find interns.
No.
But intern, I'll still, take on a project, and just because it's a passion, So go out and surround yourself around good people who are making positive moves, and you'll find that eventually, if you're persistent and consistent, it'll bear some fruit.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Since you've been in the business for so long, you've seen the transitions. There's been years in public schools where music was not taught like it was when we were coming up. Music appreciation and how to actually read music and play different instruments. Today, as far as what you see, are the numbers of musicians higher or lower than what it was back in the day?
I still think there's a lot of musicians, especially if you go into the churches. But that's pretty much where you'll find them.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, everybody's doing tracks.
Yes.
You don't find a lot of urban acts with live musicians.
That's what I'm getting at.
And that's what we need. There's all genres of music out there. Like I said, with the record shop, we do everything except for hardcore rap. I do hip hop, I do everything. And there's always these singer-songwriters that we bring on because they're self-contained. To ask someone to come on and do an acoustic set in the urban, genre now, it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
But they need to learn how to be self-contained, and it's great to go in and sing, but you got auto tunes and everyone out there now who can make you sound good. But when you go out to perform, that's a whole different issue.
Yes.
So try to be a little bit more multidimensional.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me get back to this a minute. Eddie, you're saying Uncle Melvin was over his house 2 weeks ago.
Yep, at a barbecue that I wasn't invited to.
And he wants to write to them, McPhilly, get at me. I have hits. Okay, all right. Okay. Now, Frank is saying he's in New York now drumming, but he missed Philadelphia and he'll be back soon. Yeah.
Great.
Come on back. Come on back, Frank.
Great.
Okay. So talking about interns, I also have a program called Simply Music Kids.
Okay.
And in that program, I teach children how to sight read, how to read,
Great.
How to play piano, how to read. We have a guitar teacher, and we put on like little shows on Facebook for our kids.
Okay.
Their parents are happy, they're happy, and it makes me happy to see the kids grow and develop musically. Okay, it makes me happy. So talking about interns, we're always looking for interns to fill in on the show. So if you're musically inclined and you want to come in and work with one of our kids, we have one of our students called Ali Mohammed, and he sings. He's a great little singer. If you join us Tuesday at 6 o'clock, you'll hear him sing.
Okay.
And we have another little girl, her name is Siani Kemp, and she plays the piano, and she usually hosts our show.
Okay, great.
So the show is about kids, but we always are looking for interns. I have one intern thus far, and his name is Philip Allen.
Okay.
Okay, he plays drums, keyboards, he plays bass, and it's one other, and guitar. So he's there every Monday and every Tuesday working with our kids.
Great.
So in essence, if you want to do some internship, just give us
So
a
some
call.
of the folks that are listening to your show now, they all know someone. So hopefully they steer them your direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything that you want to say before we enter in our interview?
Well, I'm just, again, appreciative and honored that you would ask me. I've always been behind the scenes.
You're up front now.
I'm going to fall back behind the scenes.
We're going to keep you up front this time, Marty.
You know what? Sometimes you can get a lot more done when you're not in the spotlight.
I know, but sometimes you need to be in the spotlight.
Well, you know what? A friend of mine, his name is George Daniels.
Okay.
He's a big-time retailer out of Chicago and works with R. Kelly and them.
Okay.
And he always said, Mark, man, it's a poor dog that don't wag his own tail, right? So I sit back and I thought about it before I came on here, right?
Right.
And I was like, all right, you know. But again, you know, I'll fall back behind the scenes, and God willing allows me to keep going and doing what I love to do.
Okay, and you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Go ahead and promote whatever you have upcoming.
Yeah, anything upcoming.
Give us information on how to reach you to help.
Because we can do some commercials and for you and all that. We're here to try to help.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. Again, I have Ardmore Unity Day coming up. That's in Ardmore, PA. That'll be Saturday, September the 8th.
Okay.
And that's an all-day outdoor event. We have some great talent. Of course, I have Al Gray, who does my sound, and Brett Jolly, who's like the musical director. Yeah, Captain Boogie. Yeah. You know, Al and I, we go way, 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 way back, you know. And Brett's been, you know, he's been like just a blessing over the years. Yeah.
Brett Jolly is on my board of directors for the kids.
Oh, great.
Brett Jolly and Shoe Baby Schuler.
Right.
They're on my.
Okay, so you got great people, you know. I have different episodes of The Record Shop. You can tune in on Sundays on Philly Cam.
Okay.
That's at 2:00. And, you know, of course, the chairman of the board, you know, please, you know, even if you don't purchase the album, listen to it.
Okay.
You know, and see what, you know, what's going on. Some real good music again.
Okay. Can you download the album?
Yes. Yeah, you can do, you know,
all those kind of
it's
things.
available everywhere. And now everybody streams.
Yeah.
So, hey, listen, you know, if you want to stream it, to listen to it, it still helps.
So Facebook, family, and friends, chairman of the board has been around forever, and they're still bumping. They're still doing all kinds of things, performing, recording.
What was that first hit?
Let's go and help them out with this album.
Chairman of the board. Come on.
What is it? Come on.
Give me just a little bit more
DJ,
time.
you tell us.
Yeah.
What is it?
And my love will surely grow.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
Well, Marty, I want to say thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure to have you here with us today.
It's been fun.
And we're taking this musical journey with you. We're learning so much about Marty Gibbs, who wants to be in the background, who needs to wag his tail and come up front. Okay. So we learned a lot about you, and we're going to follow you. And you tell our audience how they could reach you.
Mostly Facebook.
No.
Yeah. Facebook, you know, Marty Gibbs. And also I have a Facebook page for Rebel Hill Music. I mean, Rebel Hill Entertainment, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a email?
Marty.gibbs1@gmail.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and thank you again.
Thank you.
And I want to say thank you to his wife back there.
Romaine.
She's in the back with me.
Listen, everybody who knows me knows that she's always
yes, she is
close
in the
by.
front. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Okay, and we are out. All right, that's good there. And like the orange thing, baby.
I did it.
And end it up top. Right there.